is going on, everybody in Wrestling Review Society Facebook page, YouTube page, and wherever you happen to be watching us tonight? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Let us know you enjoy the interview. We've got a very special guest for you guys tonight. As you know, I've been interviewing all the ARW talent, and this one's going to be a little scary, for lack of a better term. He is the boogeyman of ARW. He is the human horror show, and I'm very much looking forward to sitting down with him. But before I bring my guest on, guys, I just want to take a quick second to plug our sponsors. If you notice at the bottom of the screen, that is our Pro Wrestling Tees store. If you go to prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling Review Society, you'll see a multitude of our amazing shirts we have, like this Vape Master shirt, throwback to our belt review days. We have our Wrestle Hub shirt, our Wrestling and Chill shirt, Super Mario, Power Rangers, and even the War Room shirt. This is the show you're currently watching. So if you want to get your hands on any of our merchandise, head over to prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling Review Society and order yourself a shirt today. Also, guys, A-Rock Designs. A-Rock Designs is a custom business who makes all those great cups you see floating around, wrestling related, non-wrestling related. And I have one here to show you. This is one of her recent creations. It is a crime scene cup that looks like it has blood all over it, crime scene tape. And just in case that wasn't cool enough, guys, it glows in the dark. Oh, the laptop screen's messing it up. But it actually glows in the dark like an ultraviolet light. She is working on this one for all the Harry Potter fans. It is a map of Hogwarts. How awesome is that? I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but most of you are. So if you want to get your hands on any of her awesome creations, make sure you head over to A-Rock Designs on Facebook and place your orders today. With that being said, guys, I went to the most recent ARW show, and overall, it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. Me and my wife were there. And then this 8-foot-tall mask-wearing Joker comes out, and he looked absolutely terrifying. I was actually a little intimidated to approach him and ask him to come on the podcast, but he is here tonight. He's going to spend the next hour or so with us. So everybody, please help me in welcoming the human horror show, Zack. Zack, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Kevin? How are you, man?
Good. And by the way, that wasn't a work. I was a little intimidated.
Why, man? I'm your average, everyday 6'5" devil walking around, and it's fine. I'm a nice guy.
There's so many things with that sentence that is not average every day.
It could be. It's just not your average every day. See what I'm saying? It's my average every day.
Look, I get you, man. I hear what you're saying. It's just, gee, there's no nice way to say it. I was completely intimidated, and I'm 6'5". I think you're one of the only guys I've met who can stare me in the face.
Yeah.
But anyway, so man, like I said, I went to the ARW show, had an amazing time. You were one of the coolest dudes there. You had a really good way of, yes, you were intimidating in the ring, but once it came time to talk and chill with the fans, I think you talked to more fans than anybody. How's your day been going, man? What's going on with you? And you looking forward to the next ARW show?
I am, man. Fun fact, actually, the last show, I was hurt. So I wasn't able to do everything that I normally do. Was that your first ARW show?
It was. I went down there because I'm friends with Garrett Bischoff.
Right.
And he was the referee in the main event. So I went down there to hang out with him, and I was like, yeah, man, I'll go and check out the show too. So went there, hung out with him, caught the show, and ever since then, man, I've been interviewing nothing but ARW guys. I was supposed to have Alex on last week. Some things came up. We're rescheduling that, but I'm really looking forward to that. And I've been looking forward to this one for a while, but you're a pretty hard guy to get a hold of.
So between everything that I do in my personal life, between tattooing and then I run a training facility over here, you know what I mean? So I'm constantly training guys, and I'm in the ring, and I got a little girl running around, so it's a little hectic for me, but I try to get back to people as much as I see everything, you know what I mean? But I'm not able to really be on my phone as much as I would really like to. There's still messages sitting in my human horror show page and my tattoo page that I haven't been able to get to yet. So I'm glad that I was actually finally able to get a hold of you, though.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Well, not a long time, but since the last show.
Right.
And as intimidating as you were, I got to tell you, man, you're one of the easiest guys to talk to.
Thank you.
So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of wrestling. At what age did you discover professional wrestling, and what about it stood out so much to you that you were like, you know what, this is where the Human Horror Show needs to go?
Man, I was 3. Like I was 3 years old, and my mom took me to an event, and I got to see the Ultimate Warrior, and that, like, just like the larger than life like persona, the energy, like what I felt in that arena at that point in time. That's what I just knew this is what I wanted to do, you know. And growing up, all I knew was WWF or WCW. You know what I mean? Those were the only 2 things I knew. And then once I started to like look around, that's when I found indie wrestling and ECW, and I found all the cool stuff that like really made me just go, this is it. This is it for me. This is what I want.
Absolutely, man. So I imagine at 3 years old, the Human Horror Show isn't what you had in mind. When did that character develop, and when did you decide that that was the direction you wanted to go?
So when I first started wrestling, I've always kind of been like this. Like I've always really been big into horror and like the slasher movies and stuff like that. Which, by the way, that cup that you just shown to everybody, that was amazing. Like
So
I love.
this was made, not to cut you off, this was made by my wife. This is what her business is. She owns her own business where she makes a lot of cool custom stuff. And it says, "People lie, evidence doesn't." It's got the crime scene tape, the little blood smears. And I really wish this laptop wasn't so bright because you can kind of see where it glows. It glows ultraviolet blue like a black light.
Yeah, no, like as soon as you saw it, I was like, that's amazing. And I'm a huge Harry Potter freak as well. So like both of those like caught my eye. And yes, that's amazing. I'm actually
This is what she does, man.
before we got into this, I was actually playing Lego Harry Potter. Like that's what's paused like right now. Me and my wife go to Universal, and like, dude, one, I'm a little bitter because they replaced the Jaws ride, and I love great white sharks. Like that's my thing. And like I grew up on Jaws. Like I love that movie. They replaced the Jaws ride with Diagon Alley at Universal. So like every time I step a foot onto like the very first brick, I'm just like, I never got to ride the Jaws ride, so I'm just bitter at this point. But dude, we go and like we have the butter beer, and like we both have like interactive wands, and I don't know, dude, it's something about it. But I have such a fun time with it, and like we watch all the movies all the time.
Dude, our universal remote control for our TV is a Harry Potter wand. Like it's literally about this long, that big around, and depending on what way you wave it, is whether it does channel, volume, input, whatever the case may be. It's the smartest remote I know, because if you wave it 2 degrees the wrong way, you're going to do the completely opposite thing you want to do. It's very aggravating.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic.
Maybe for you.
So my wife actually was the one who was like really big into Harry Potter at first. It wasn't so much me. And then obviously like being around her and watching all the movies. Now I own like Harry Potter pops and Legos. Like I have the entire
you got a
Hogwarts.
pretty decent collection sitting behind you.
Yeah, man. That's just my back wall. Like up top on my actual like dresser. I don't know if you can see it, but like all those are Legos. So like I have the entire Hogwarts castle on the right hand side, and then on the left hand side is like every Sith, Star Wars like ship and battle cruiser that I could ever like find, including Vader's castle, which is all the way in the back. But
so you must really like this shirt then, huh?
Dude, I love that shirt. Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, that's cool.
When we started Wrestling Review Society, it was just belt reviews. Me and my partner, we collect championship belts, and we'd make YouTube videos reviewing the belts as they came in. And every video started the same way. I would take a really big hit off my vape and I'd blow it in his face, and he named me the Vape Master. And when we opened up our Pro Wrestling Tee store as an homage to the belt review days, had to do it, man. Had to do it.
No, dude, it's fantastic. Like I absolutely love that. I wasn't the biggest Star Wars fan for like the longest time. Even growing up, like I couldn't get into it because the only thing that I knew was the original movies, you know, the 4, 5, and 6. And I couldn't do it. And then right about the time that they released 9, my wife loves it. So I jumped into it and I was like, let me watch it from episode 1 all the way through. And by like episode 2, dude, I was just like, I'm sold. This is it. And like, I have such a huge issue with just jumping into things. Like when I jump in, like I just jump. I don't even think about it. So after watching episode 9, I ran out one day because she left me unsupervised. And when she came back home, I had the
We need an adult.
I had the Empire logo tattooed onto my face. Like,
you cannot be left to your own devices.
I can't, man. I really can't. I also appreciate that shirt because I have ran so many vape stores in my life. Like, I genuinely, I like doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw you filling up your tank beforehand. Is that Heisenberg, by the way?
It absolutely is, my man. It absolutely is. Rated best vape juice 2016, 17, 18, and 19.
I was on. I found
I'm hitting the Zeus mod right now.
Nice. I'm on that. I'm on that Geek Vape Aegis actually.
Yeah,
with
it's the same mod.
Yeah.
It's just mine. You might have the Zeus tank, you might not. They did a limited run with them, but it's the best tank I've ever hit.
Actually, what one is Valerian 2?
Okay, yeah.
I was super into dripping, and I had my vape in my pocket when I was running a haunted walk, and I fried my coil, not paying attention. And
I've got a burn hole in one of my shorts because I did the same thing.
So yeah, I did that, and so I'm running this entire haunted walk, and I don't have my vape, so I keep hitting my wife's over and over again. And she was like, "That's it, we're not doing this anymore." So she came in the next day, and she handed me this tank, and she was like, "Use this. You're not burning my coils." So,
dude, oh my God, Zach, that is an exact conversation we have in my house, just the other way around. Because my wife doesn't like changing her own coils, so when her coil gets burnt, until I change it, she's hitting mine.
My wife can't do the drippers because she doesn't understand the actual wrapping part, and that's one of my favorite things. Like, I love wrapping coils. Like, you'll find me in the garage with like a drill and like a bunch of wire, just like going to town. And yeah, man, I had such a cool little like build on. I was running a legend, one of the Aegis legends on a dead rabbit version 2, and like.
I've worked in about 3 different vape shops.
Yeah, man. So you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. And the first time I had a problem with my original rabbit, my wife, I fell asleep on the couch and she took my vape because it was in my hand, because apparently I have a problem. I don't understand what it is yet. But she took it out of my hand and she put it on the counter, and I woke up the next day and I went to go hit my vape as I was walking out the door, and it tasted so burnt. It was horrible. What happened was I had it on a drag. I had it on a little drag machine, and she put it down, and I don't know, the drag decided to falter out, and it fired, and it stayed firing throughout the whole night, to the point that the plastic drip tip on the dead rabbit had melted.
Jesus.
So after that, I went out and I bought a new mod, and I bought this, or I bought the Aegis Legends with the. And I got another dead rabbit, and I got the 2, and haunted walk happened. And here I am. Now my vape is completely fried out because it was in my pocket and I wasn't paying attention. And I was just like, what is on fire right now? Because I'm like looking around and I'm like, we have a bunch of smoke machines. And like, I was in this solo tunnel with just a red light. So like, it really wasn't like the brightest to be able to be looking around. And I'm just like, what is on fire? I was like, is one of the smoke machines burning? I was like, oh no, that's me. And dude, it burnt a hole right through my pants I was wearing, and I was just like, what the hell? So like every 5 minutes, I'm like taking my wife's vape, to the point that I just took it and I hid in my little cubby hole for the entire night, like under my red lights, and she had to come take her vape from me. And the next day she came at me and she gave me this little beauty, and I've had it ever since, and I haven't had a problem with it.
Yeah, man, that so many parts of that story relate to my household. But let's get back into wrestling a little bit. You know, when did you start your independent training, and how long were you training before you made your debut?
Oh man, so I started training in 2008. Before that, I had built a makeshift ring in my backyard, and me and my buddies would just go out there every Tuesday and beat the crap out of each other. And like, we had so much fun doing it. That this is back in like the MySpace days. We actually started.
What wrestling fan didn't have a ring in their backyard at that point?
Right, man, dude. I built it out of tires and futon mattresses.
Mm-hmm.
So the tires were down, and then I had the plywood, and then I had the futon mattresses, and it was all around an above ground PVC pipe pool. So like we had like a little like circular ring. We put up all the tires and stuff, and the coolest part about it was we were next to this giant like 2-story shed. So we would walk out of the shed as like an entrance, and like every Tuesday we go out there and we just beat the crap out of each other and have a blast with it. We started uploading pictures and videos and stuff onto the MySpace, and the local indie promotion down here got a hold of me. And they're like, hey man, like, how would you feel about doing this for real? Like, would you be interested? And I was like, absolutely. So I went down there, and it was probably about 2008, right on the cusp of 2009. And I went down to their show, hung out with them, met everybody. And then from there, they were like, hey man, we train on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Why don't you come out? So I did that. I think I trained for a whole 3 months before I was just thrown into the ring at a show. And man, it was such like an unoriginal gimmick type deal, because like I had no idea what I was doing. Like I had just learned how to bump and call spots and stuff, you know? And they were like, well, what did you wrestle as? And I was like, I was just Zack Monstar. Like that name's always been, you know, my deal. And they were like, Monstar would never stick. We got to get rid of it. Monstar could never stick. It can't be your last name.
Did they ever see the movie Space Jam?
Dude, that's where it came from. I love Space Jam. So, man, I was like, all right, so what do you think? And they were like, you can be Zack the Monstar Myers. They're like, because you like Halloween and stuff. So just go out there and you can wear a mask and, you know, be Michael Myers. But so I was like, all right. So that was like my very first match ever. Like they didn't put me through like ref training or anything like that. Like from the moment that I stepped foot in the ring to the moment of my first debut, like they trained me to be a wrestler, and that's what we did. And when I went out there and I had a little 15-minute match with the owner of the company, and it just proceeded to go further and further. Eventually, after that first show, they were like, you can be Monstar. It's fine. That's what the crowd was chanting. You can be that. And from there, it went to I wanted a moniker so bad. I had no idea like what I wanted to do. So I ended up becoming like, I was everything that was wrong with like wrestling. Cause like I never really, 3 months in, now I'm in the ring. Now I was training in somebody's backyard, you know, and I was doing all the things that you weren't supposed to do, but I was succeeding with them, which I thought was the coolest part. So I wanted to be the American tragedy. Like I wanted to be something that was like, it was like the reject of rejects. Like I knew I was going to make it. It just took time for people to see it type deal, you know?
No, absolutely.
And so that was the gimmick that I ran for a little bit. I ended up turning heel. They ended up making me go heel at one point, and I was like, well, I got to get rid of the American tragedy thing, because that was the face stuff. And I sat here and I figured it out, and I ended up getting hurt. So on my return back, actually I got suspended. And so I got suspended, and my return back, they were like, all right, so you're going to revamp your character. And that's when a lot of the horror stuff like really started to come into play. The stuff I was doing at like the haunted walk, from like the talking to the laughing to the creepy character movements to, you know, like the physical brutality of it, where like at the haunted walk, people are like, oh, you can't touch me. Or my favorite thing is when I pop out at them and they draw back and they draw the fist, and I tell them to hit me. Like I'm that guy. I have a problem. But I tell them to hit me, and then you know, I'll start hitting myself to scare them. So I started taking that and implementing it into the ring. And from there, that's where the Human Horror Show was born, man. Like I was just a walking horror show. That's what I wanted. That's exactly how I wanted to portray myself. Like I wanted to make it so whether you were going to be scared, excited, or intrigued, like I was going to leave an impression. And that's
you wanted to make it comfortable to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, man. And that's exactly that was the deal. 110%. I wanted people, whether I'd be first in the show, last in the show, somewhere in between it, you know what I mean? I wanted to be able to do something that made people just take a second to go, what the hell am I looking at?
Absolutely, man. And I got to tell you, I make mention of ARW a lot. That's where I met most of you guys. When I look back at that show, I cannot figure out which match I like better, your match or the main event. And that's the whole mindset. Whether you're the opener, the closer, or somewhere in the middle, you want people to remember your match. When I look back at ARW, all the guys were great. The show's fantastic. But when I look back at ARW and I'm like, what match would I really love to sit down and watch again? It was either your match or the main event. They were both absolutely amazing. And that's why I was so big on wanting to get you on the podcast and wanting to get your partner on here as well. It was such a good time. But while we're talking about ARW, man, what I've noticed with them is it's not just your run-of-the-mill indie show. Like ARW is doing something very special. They're bringing in the big names. They're bringing in the names that people recognize and showcasing new talent that people may not know. So that leads me to ask this question. I've seen like the Headbangers, Wes Briscoe, Shannon Moore, EC3's coming up. Who were some of your favorite opponents you faced?
And in general, or just ARW wise? Because
in general,
dude. Okay, so fun fact. So about a year and a half into my career, I got to tag with my dad, who is Sin. And turn around, and it was a 6-man deal for a charity.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but the viewers are really liking the show, man.
Awesome, man. I'm really glad to hear that. So about a year in, I got to tag with my dad, Sin, and his partner was Jake the Snake. So I got to work with them, and like the knowledge off of that was fantastic, dude. That was,
I can imagine.
Since then, man, I've got to step in the ring with the likes of like Lindsay Dorado, Leo Rush, Sammy Callahan. That was
a banger.
That was fun. Me and Fulton actually had one hell of just a coming together of just us beating the crap out of each other. Me and Chuckles over at ROH always have a good show. Man, I can't say that I haven't enjoyed every single time I've stepped into the ring, whether it be a short match, a long match, an important one, a non-story related, you know what I mean? It's funny too, because like I'm really close with Thrasher from the Headbangers, but me and him were supposed to work each other back in the over in another promotion, and he ended up getting sick and he couldn't make it. So my goal is to get me and him one-on-one. And right before that, right after he got sick, I got thrown into a match with Rhino. I got to work Rhino, which was really fun.
Nice. We have one coming in from the audience. This is Daniel Smith. He's always watching the show. He's one of the biggest supporters I have. He says, Zach, have you ever wrestled in the UK?
I haven't, but I have been in talks with a bunch of people about it. A couple of my buddies are in the UK, and they all work for, wrestling promotions all over the place and stuff. And he is really close with what family is over there. It's a really important wrestling family. And like, yes, any other day I know it, and I can't. It completely, I was going to say Paige's parents, but I wanted to be so professional with it.
No, absolutely.
He's really close with the Knights. And down here in Fort Myers, I have a tag team called the House of Wolves. And it's me and actually my older brother. And my buddy Adam showed Ricky Knight and Saria the tag stuff that we were doing, and like my deathmatch stuff. And they wanted us to come in and face the UK Hooligans. And so that was supposed to happen this year, but due to COVID and everything else, everything got postponed. So I got kind of stuck. But yeah, dude, totally. I was going to be up in the UK for a week for like a 4-show deal, and it was going to be the blast. But, you know,
So,
pandemics.
the true heel of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But before we move on, Daniel's always been a really good viewer of the show. He's always commenting. He's here every single week. And one thing he messaged me when I posted that you were going to be the guest is he's like, I hope I can get a shout out from Zack. So, Zack, if you could do me a favor and just give Daniel a shout out and thank him for being a fan of the show, I'd really appreciate it.
Daniel, thank you so much for the ongoing support for the show and obviously being a part of this show because I'm on it. And just in general, man, please ask any question that you want. I am here to answer them. And just thank you so much, Daniel.
You just open up the floodgates because he's going to ask a bunch of questions. And while he's typing away on his keyboard, I would really like to, like I said when we were talking earlier, man, this show is more about getting to know the person behind the gimmick, letting everybody know who you are in real life. And I know you're a tattoo artist, and I want to take advantage of this, and I want to play a quick game with you. Okay. I want to get your blind reaction to some tattoos I found online. Just reaction to them, however good or bad it may be. Are you down for that?
Yeah, man, I'm completely down.
All right, so I found about 5 of them, and yeah, I can't wait to get your reaction to them. So the first one, I'm sure you've seen before. I've seen this plenty of times. But what is your reaction to this tattoo?
Oh my god! Hey, man. When you have something, you work with it. That's the best thing that I can say. Like, he did that on a dare.
Okay, so coming up next, we have what I believe is supposed to be a set of wings on this guy's back. Oh, but no. This is what it looks like.
Oh, no. Did you pay him in a case of Mountain Dew and pixie sticks? What happened here? Has your tattoo artist ever seen? Why does the top of the wing look like a blank face? Do you see it? Like there's the crowning, there's the nose. Like what was he trying to? Oh man!
I googled worst tattoos ever because I knew you were going to have some cool things to say. So moving on to the next one, and this one really took me by surprise.
So, like, I want this tiger, right? Oh, absolutely. It'll be about $500. My boy can do it in his kitchen for like $25. He's a really good artist. All right, we'll go to your boy. There you go.
Now, I'm not a tattoo artist, but the first couple things I noticed is one, the back of the tiger and the front of the tiger are way disproportionate. There's no bottom to his mouth, like on the inside of his mouth. There's no bottom. There's no tongue. He's got 4 teeth. This is the laziest tiger I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, did you see that eye? You can definitely tell it's a lazy tiger.
It's dude, the Devon Dudley tiger.
He's selling right now. Do you see the backside of that tiger? He's definitely missed leg day. Like, what is happening here?
So,
I wonder how big that is. Is that like a whole shoulder? Is that like a shoulder piece, or is that like a whole? That's a shoulder.
Whole back. It's a back.
Oh my! Listen,
like right there down by the tail. That's just above his waist.
I can do a lot of things. The only thing I will never touch is like realism. Like if you want like a neo-traditional tiger, I got that for days. I love color and stuff. But that boy.
So we're going to show Zack a few more tattoos. Then we're going to get into some viewer questions. So if you have any questions for Zack, pro wrestling, or that awesome collection behind him, go ahead and send them in, guys. We're going to tackle those just as soon as I show him these last 3 tattoos. This next one is the biggest oxymoron I've ever seen. The tattoo says too cool for school, but this tattoo does not reflect it.
Oh no. Oh no. All right, 1, that school bus looks like a building just tipped over with a set of wheels on it. Secondly, somebody needs to learn how to spell. Either he did that by himself or his tattoo artist did not have autocorrect. Like, what the hell? I'm traumatized. I don't.
Oh, I'm saving the best one for last. And it's not even a bad tattoo, but it's what it is and the placement of it. So we're going to go to this one, and then we have one more after it. This one I thought was actually very well done. It just left me asking why.
Oh my. All right, hold on. Let me paint this picture really quick. Could you imagine? I would love to be like the fly on the wall when like he brings like a girl home and like she takes off his shirt. Like not even him, but she takes it off and she just takes a step back to go, what the what? Like I want to be the fly on the wall for that conversation. Like, why would you do that? Like, I've seen some really cool pieces where like it looks like your fist is Bruce Lee's fist. You know what I mean? Or like the same thing with like Goku and stuff like that. I've seen some really really cool ones, but that why?
So the last and final one before we get into the viewer questions, and like I said, it looks like the piece is very well done, but the placement of it and what the image is, Zach, I don't think you're ready for this, and I'm waiting for the pop. But in 3, 2, 1, there we go.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Wait, bring that back up. Is that an onion? Hold on.
Yes, it's an onion in the armpit.
Oh my God. That's fantastic. Like I've seen the shark in the armpit and I thought that was cool, but dude, that's amazing.
It looks like it's very well done.
I'm not even mad at that. Although so I have a tattoo in my armpit and it's just black because I didn't want to do color because it sucked that much. So the fact that she did like, dude, kudos to her. I want to have a conversation with her and just be like, hey, so what were you thinking? Why an onion? Do you not believe in deodorant? Like, I'm confused. She really likes vegetables.
So this question coming in from Daniel, I don't know if we have this much time, but we're going to take a shot anyway. How many tattoos do you have, Zach?
A lot.
We were just talking in the backstage area, and some of the only space he has left on his body is the top of his kneecaps.
Top of my knees and my lower back, just because I have no idea what I want to do on there. But other than that, like everything else is pretty much full, which makes me mad because every time I see something, I'm like, I want that. I have to figure out how to integrate it into what I've got, or I'm covering something up. So, but yeah, a lot. When people ask, a lot. I haven't counted, but it's a lot.
So a good buddy of mine just commented, said we need to go to the bar. I'm a little busy at the moment, if you couldn't tell, Pat. But anyway, so you have a lot of collectibles behind you. Before we get back into wrestling, when did you start your collection, and what is the genre of collection for you? Is it pictures, toys? Is it a certain movie? What does your collection entail, and when did you start it?
So my collection entails everything from Legos to pictures, like movie posters and stuff, to paintings, like that's a painting, to pictures of my daughter and my kids, to wrestling action figures, to masks, to wrestling memorabilia. Like let's see if I can flip this real quick. So I don't know if you can see, but hanging above my TV is the Fiend head. Like it's actually the Bray Wyatt lantern.
Oh yeah, the lantern.
And then right next to it is the Pennywise, which is on an inflatable Raphael.
Here, let me go ahead and do this so the viewers can see it better.
There you go. Yeah, so that's pretty much my room in a nutshell. Like Legos, posters, memorabilia. I'm a mark for myself, so I've got my own poster on the ceiling. My wife hates me. But
now, is that poster on the ceiling for you or for her, Zach?
So it was a gift, actually. It was a birthday gift. I got 2 of them, and it was super cool. And I was like, you know what? I'm putting these on my roof. I've got like comic book stuff, like the artist who originally drew Deadpool. I have a framed picture of Deadpool with his signature on it. Like just some really cool, like nifty stuff. I think one of my favorites, though, is my friend, my buddy of mine, did a Zack Monstar action figure with chainsaw equipped accessory. So like he did like my face paint and everything, which is super cool. And I have a really stupid habit of trying to find things that are ridiculously rare. So I have the new Fiend toy that just came out. Because I'm a huge Bray Wyatt mark, just in case nobody's figured that one out yet with the giant lantern over my bed. But I have the NXT Takeover Aleister Black.
Dude, his vest was amazing.
Yes, Hannah Hora is the one who does it, and she is absolutely fantastic. She's actually given me pointers on how to do my vest and stuff. So
we have two questions coming in for your collection. One being from Brooke Phillips. Well, first, Daniel says awesome collection. And then question coming in from Brooke Phillips. Brooke, thanks for watching the show. Thanks for tuning in and listening to me and Zack jack our jaws for an hour. But she says, what is your favorite wrestling figure you have?
Oh man. Like I said, I have to say it was the Aleister from the Takeover collection, just because I must have been on the hunt for at least 8 months, man. Like he's definitely the most expensive one that I've purchased. Like I'm pretty justifiable when it comes to prices on some of these.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got lucky with the Fiend. I actually found him online for about $30, which when I see a toy, like I know I'm not going to see it in store because people are going to, you know what I mean? So I got lucky with the Fiend. I found him for 30. Aleister ended up costing me $87. And which is nothing compared to the price that they were selling him for. Like they were selling him for $350, and I ended up talking them down to about 85 plus shipping. So I was super happy about that one. But yeah, man, I gotta say, like, my top favorites is, like, I got the Fiend, Aleister, Pete Dunne, who is another, like, personal favorite of mine. And I have the 2000 version of Jeff Hardy with all the face paint, like not all the face paint, but like the glow in the dark face paint with the, those four are probably my favorite that I have. I'm like looking around the room, like, do I have any other ones that like I'm like super keen about? Because like I have the entire Wyatt family, all the way down to like Daniel Bryan in the jumpsuit, and that's actually above my bed right there. That's Bray, Luke, Rowan, and there's Brian, and then I have the very last CM Punk that was ever produced, with him in the mutton chops and the hoodie, and then I have all the Shield guys before, you know.
So we have another question about your collection, but before we get to that, we have Raymond says, hello, greetings from the Netherlands. Thanks for watching the show, my man. We have Piers Austin in the house. Piers is a good friend of mine. He runs a very similar show called Shooting the Shit Uncensored. Make sure you check that out. Piers is based out of Australia. So he gives you a take on pro wrestling, but with a funny little accent.
I like it.
But another question about your collection is, what is the most expensive piece that you own?
I gotta say the replica Bray Wyatt mask I just got. Like I got the replica Fiend mask.
Did you get the one from WWE Shop?
Yeah, man. You want to see it?
You should have talked to me first, man. I got a guy who makes it out of actual silicone that costs you like half the price.
So there's this guy that I
also got a guy who can make you the belt for way less than what they sell it.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that because I need that.
Absolutely.
When I told my wife what I bought the mask for, she was like, but I really want the title too. And she was like, I will kill you. She was like, I will. And so I don't, wrestling's already brought me back from the dead. I don't need to be, we don't need to go again. Yeah, I don't want to go through that again. So I want to say the most expensive thing that I have dropped the cash on is the Bray Wyatt mask. You know what I mean? The Fiend mask. And I have a buddy that makes them too, but like he sells them for the same price that I would have ended up paying to get this done. So I've looked at so many reviews on this thing, and like the leather work on it, and along with like the stitching and like just like the thick plastic silicone that they have on it, the latex and like the attention to detail that they did, all the way down to like the 5-point harness with the buckles on the back.
Yeah,
man, I wanted it when I first saw it, and they sold out of them instantly. So it was like a Tuesday night, and my wife had fallen asleep next to me. And I was just like, scrolling through online and I get this little email saying, "Are you still interested in this?" And I clicked on it and I was like, "There's no way. It's not in stock. It's not even in the system." And I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, it is." Shopping cart.
So yeah, man, we'll definitely hang out for a little bit after the show, and I'll smarten you up to some pretty cool makers of the fiend stuff that I think your wife might kill us both for, because I'm the one that told you about it.
I appreciate that, because like I said, I've been looking for that title for a hot minute, but I can't justify. So WWE has it for $450, which is way better than the $6,000 price tag they had on it.
I'll go ahead and tell you this: it's like 200 plus shipping from the guy I'm talking about.
I will hug you at the next show.
Well, I'll be there September 4th, and it's a perfect segue into where I wanted to go next, man. So getting back, guys, when you get guys who collect stuff, just grown ass children is what we are. Let's call it what it is. We could literally talk for days about the most childish stuff, like collecting action figures and belts that I never actually won. But getting back into ARW, funny thing is, guys, you saw the 3,000 member giveaway we're having. So, Zach, I don't know if you know this or not, but every time we hit 1,000 members on Wrestling Review Society's Facebook page, we pick one lucky winner and we give away a free championship belt. The winner of the 3,000 member giveaway, I know I told you guys he lived in Florida. I know I told you guys I was going to be giving it away in person. I will actually be delivering that belt in person at the next ARW show, September 4th. The winner doesn't know he won. He doesn't even know I'm bringing it. He will be at the ARW show, and I will be presenting it to the winner live on the Facebook page. Just quick plug. But getting back into ARW, man, what is it about ARW that makes it so special? Because like I said, it's not your run-of-the-mill independent show. You guys are doing some really cool things there. Like, even during the intermission, you guys had a green screen set up where the audience can go cut their own promos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it about ARW that makes it so special?
So Alex Red, who actually owns and runs ARW 110%, man, he has done so many different things, like with promotional aspects and stuff like that. And I run my own promotion down here in Fort Myers called Real Pro Wrestling. So I think honestly what it is like me and Alex work together when it comes to like talking about ideas and like spitballing and stuff like that. But Alex has like this amazing idea of like visionary, because he has been to all these other shows and he doesn't want to do the same thing that everybody else is doing. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
The first time I had ever worked Vertigo was at an ARW event. It's the same thing with my first time ever doing anything with like Sandman or Sabu. It was ARW.
Pitbull. He's a tiny man, but he'll rip your head off.
Dude, Vertigo is one of the most amazing individuals I've had the pleasure of meeting in this business. Vertigo was actually at my wedding. Like him and his fiance now both went to my wedding in December. And like, man, I am so close with like, I owe wrestling everything, because I feel like if I didn't have wrestling, I wouldn't have all the people that like I'm so close to in my life.
How cool was it to be such a fan of wrestling? And you say Vertigo's fiance was there, a member of the Samoan family at your wedding.
Dude.
Or did you think I didn't know that?
I didn't know if you knew that or not.
I do my homework, Zach.
I didn't want to put her out there like that, but dude, it was.
No, that's why I didn't say her name.
I didn't even think about it from that aspect. It hit me later on, and I was like, "Holy crap!" But
Ashley just made cups for that family. My wife, that family ordered some of her cups for some of their family. So I was very much the same. I was like, "Holy crap!" Like they don't know me personally, but they know my wife's business, and they supported her business by ordering her product. It blew me away.
So I'm a huge Pennywise fan, new and old, just to justify that, rectify, whatever. And her and Vertigo's wedding gift to me was a I give him my lunch money via email. I wouldn't take it. I'd send it back. I'm not that guy.
Hugs, you're going to want to hang out for the next picture game we're going to play at the end of the interview. If you think he looks intimidating now, I got some pictures that'll definitely justify that comment. We ain't done with the pictures, Zach.
Oh, hell yeah. So Vertigo and his wife, she's an amazing artist. She painted me a portrait, like a canvas painting of Pennywise, and she gave it to me for a wedding present. And like that's actually in my tattoo room. It's one of my favorite pieces, like art wise, because so that's done. That's an oil based painting that my friend did for me from the Haunted Walk. With my little brother handing me the chainsaw and like our little like demon thing, and then on the other side of it, it's just like different like concepts and ideas. Like I got a bloody nurse, and then like the twins for like the freak show thing, like the conjoined twins. I've got my first ever portrait of realism that I ever did of Frankenstein up at the top. So man, I love art so much. But you guys need to do a vape off.
Special request from the audience. Hold on, don't hit it yet. Don't hit it yet. I'm probably gonna lose, and
I don't know, man. I'm on a
I'm gonna
tank.
mute. I'm gonna mute my microphone because the sound of the vape is gonna make it sound like a hurricane. But we're gonna see who can blow the biggest cloud out of me and Zach, strictly because a guest requested it. But Zach, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Let us know in the comments who you think won. But anyway, Zach, you were saying.
I don't even know at that point, but
Dude, this is how this show goes, man. We start out at point A, and between your stories, the fans chiming in, we end up all the way somewhere we never thought we were going to go. But it's an absolutely lovely place.
so just since we're doing like the not like the backstory, but like the person behind the gimmick and stuff like that, which is so weird for me because like I've always felt that like my gimmick is just me. You know what I mean? But the lunch money thing, it's funny because, dude, like growing up, I was short, I was heavy set, and like I got bullied a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like it's always funny to me whenever I see somebody who's like, "Oh, you look so scary." Like, you know, I would give you my lunch money, and I'm like, I would never take it, man, because like I was on the receiving end of that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until about like sixth grade where like I shot up like a tree. Like I don't know what happened.
That actually reminds me of a story. You know, you say you wouldn't take the lunch money. When I went to the ARW show, I was getting autographs, getting pictures from everybody. Me and Zach got into a conversation, and like 10 minutes later, Zach comes up and he goes, "Dude, did I charge you for that autograph? I can't remember." I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Okay, don't even worry about it." So no, he definitely wouldn't take your lunch money.
No, man, because like the fact that you're willing, like even just then, like for you, for example, and like I felt so bad asking you. I want you to know that, like I felt so bad being like, did I?
No,
Did I?
dude, it's all good. That's how you guys make your money.
You
I
know,
wasn't trying to get anything for free or nothing like that.
no.
But the fact that you were like, you know, don't even worry about if you did or didn't, because I honestly couldn't remember either. We ended up having a pretty cool conversation about this podcast, and we just got tied up in the moment.
Yeah, man, and like that was the thing because I was like, you know what? I'm not even worried about it. I need to make it for like mental record, and then like I was like, I have to ask you because then at least like I'll feel better. And like, I'm going to believe whatever you tell me because like I have no reason not to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So especially when like you came off as such a genuine person, just speaking to you for that time being during intermission, that I have no reason not to believe you. But like I had to feel better being like, hey, did I? Even if you didn't, like, it's cool. I'm not even worried about it. But I needed to ask. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's all good, man. But I was very glad that we got to have that conversation. I'm glad that we're here now, talking about ARW and stuff like that, and just wrestling in general. So you've been able to. You were in the ring with Jake the Snake. You were in the ring with some amazing people. Obviously, I'm sure guys like Alistair and the Fiend are at the top of your list. Who are some opponents that you haven't got to face yet that you'd really love to get in there and tear it up with?
Man, so I was supposed to, and I really was like sinking my teeth into this one, man. So Moxley had just did his Japan stuff, and he wasn't under AEW contract yet. And this company messaged me, and they sent me the screenshots of the conversation between them and Mox. And Mox agreed to do a 2-show deal with them where we were going to end we were going to do like a little mini feud where he was going to come in at the end of a hardcore match, and me and him were going to go at it. And then at the next show, it was going to be me and Moxley in like I guess you could call it like a hardcore style, like death match. And,
said juice up his vape for round 2.
No, I was running empty actually. So,
dude, I haven't hit my vape on camera in a while, and just being so comfortable with you, man. Why not? But anyway, you were saying
Moxley is one of the ones that like I would love to be able to just step in the ring with and learn from. You know what I mean? And then talk to him afterwards and pick his brain. That's where I'm at with that.
Absolutely, man. So we're going to do one more question from the audience, and then we're going to get to our second picture game of the night, a game that I always look forward to, and it seems to get a good reaction from the guests. But before we move on, and this is a question I was wondering as well, a question from my good buddy, Heel Hugs, says, what is Zach's dream/favorite wrestling belt?
Oh, man. So currently, I've always been a fan of the IWGP. GP. Thank you. I am tired today, apparently. Wow. I've always been a fan of that title in particular. Like it just, to look at it, you can tell that like so much craftsmanship like actually went into that title. You know what I mean? And in Japan, like they make their titles mean something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To watch it here in the US, like if you're a big dude, there's a good chance you're gonna get the title. You know what I mean? They don't make it mean anything. But in Japan, you earn that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've always been a fan of the IW belt or title, and that's the one thing that always bothers me. Titles, they're not called belts. Belts hold up your pants. Titles are. I had to learn that long. Because I cut a promo once and I was like, I'm coming after that belt. And my trainer wrote me and he was like, so you want the thing that holds up his pants? And I was like, what? Like, I was so confused about it. So like to this day, like I'll walk up to veterans in the business who have been doing it for years. And I'm like, hey, by the way, it's a title, not a belt. And I'll just keep going, guys.
You know, I have a pretty decent belt collection myself. And yeah, I told my buddy Hugs this not too long ago, but I actually have the entire IWGP series on order.
That's
amazing. My wife's going to kill me. Zach, please send help.
Just call. I'll be there. Send up smoke signals if you have to.
And Hug says my gut holds up my pants. So, Zach, there's a game I like to play. I call it the Insta game. Normally what I do is I go on your Instagram, I grab a few pictures that I think are cool, and I plug them in here and kind of get the story behind them. But like I said earlier, you are not an easy man to get a hold of. I have to be approved to be your friend on Instagram. So I had to
do that yet?
No, I tried to get the pictures today. So I ended up going to your Facebook and getting a couple pictures. And what I think is really funny is I think you might have already told the story about this first one. You posted a tweet that said, hey, Mox, put me in the hospital. Was that about the 2 show deal you had that you were trying to work out?
No. So when Moxley first went on to AEW, he cut this amazing promo about Darby Allin. Mm-hmm. And he said that anybody he faces, he guarantees to put them into the hospital. That's a really cool cup. And I'm on my Instagram, by the way, looking for you.
It's Wrestling Review Society 1.
I'm going to have to... Dude, I have 173 of these that I haven't done yet. Because, like, I post a lot of...
Man. We'll do it after the show.
I post a lot of pictures of my daughter on my Instagram, so I'm very selective.
No, absolutely have to be. So that was the first. That was the first one I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, he
posting the tweet.
He did an open challenge or wherever where he was like, anybody I face, I'll put in the hospital. So like that was my first to like put me in the hospital.
So one that I thought was really funny. Please give us the story about what's going on in this picture.
So. Whenever I get checked in the ring for contraband and paraphernalia and all the fun things that I like to play with in a non hardcore match, that's the pose that I do. I drop down to my knees and I put my hands above my head like it's a police search. Because the gimmick is crazy. So like, why not play into that?
Yeah.
So so yeah, we were at Universal for actually the Aaron. He's one of like my best friends, dude. One of my biggest supporters in this, outside of like my wife and my brothers, you know, and him and his wife Nina. So it was his birthday yesterday. So for his birthday, we decided we were going to go to Universal, and we were walking through the Simpson land, and like you can see, you see the cop going to reach for his gun or whatever. And from right there, we were just like, yo, we have to do it. So we did the we are not resisting pose for the police officer.
Yeah, I saw that one and I just thought it was really funny and I kind of figured you'd get a kick out of it. Another question I have is, you already said you're a 6'5", just monster of a man. How does somebody of your size get absolutely turned inside out like this?
So like I said, you didn't get to see a lot of what I am capable of because I was hurt. I had 2 pinched nerves in my back, and I had ankle damage going into that show. Like I shouldn't even have done it, but it was my first time actually teaming with Ryzen to like form the tag team. And I honestly felt like if I didn't do it, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? So I bit the bullet. I took a couple ibuprofen and I was like, we're doing this. That particular picture, I do a lot of flips and stuff. Like I use the ropes as like I'm 6'5", but I can move like a luchador.
But you do like springboards and stuff.
Yes, sir. And a lot of flips over people and jumps and blah, blah, blah. So one of the things that I do is I do a slingshot spear after the cartwheel so they'll go to shoot me. I'll run towards the buckle. I'll do a cartwheel over the buckle and land on the apron. And they'll run at me, follow in, they'll take the buckle, feed out, and I do a slingshot spear. Well, I went for the slingshot spear. Dude kicked me. I ended up hanging myself in the apron, and he gave me the DDT. And man, I don't think you're supposed to touch your shoulder blade like that, but like
like you're on Dream Street. You're just counting sheep right now, Zach.
Dude, that was halfway into the match. So that was a Comic-Con match. We actually got to like go out there for like a Comic-Con crowd and do some stuff. That was halfway through the match where he got me with that. And I ended up hitting him with a force choke slam. He went for a line. I ducked under it and I did the Darth Vader choke to him. And popped the arm over, and from the distance, I gave him a choke slam.
Nice. Next, I've got 2 more pictures for you, and I'm going to save the best one for last. But this one, I've seen many people do it, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody enjoy it as much as you are. Zach, you just not feel pain.
So, my very first death match was with my little brother Raven Havoc, and it was the first time that like I've done the hardcore stuff, and like I love the hardcore stuff, and I've played around with light tubes before, and I've done the skewers before too. But my first time ever doing it with Raven, he brought out gusset plates. Do you know what gusset plates are?
I do not.
Give me 1 second. I have some.
Yeah, no problem. Hey guys, while he's getting that, just want to take a quick second. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, we have our Pro Wrestling Tees store. Make sure you go to prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling Review Society. Get some awesome shirts like this Baitmaster shirt I'm wearing that I'm sure Zach now wants. But real quick, guys, we do have other shirts in there. You'll see shirts like our #1 seller for Zach. I don't know why people like this shirt so much, but it's our Wrestle Hub shirt.
Dude, that's an amazing shirt. I was a fan of the Power Ranger one because like nostalgia.
Oh yeah, dude, I was a huge Power Ranger nut, and we also have the Super Mario shirt, and then the wrestling and chill shirt. And just recently added, we have our Cracker Barrel shirt.
That's amazing.
But anyway, you were talking about the plates.
So this is a gusset plate. Okay.
Looks like a cheese grater.
Right. And if you can see, these all right here are little metal spikes. These are meant to hold in the A-frame to a roof. These are used to hold the plate, to hold the 2x4s together for roofs so they don't go anywhere.
Wyatt, we'll end the show with round 2. Let's get through these next couple questions. When we end the show, we'll end the show on round 2.
And so he brought these and a paint and a couple panes of glass, like sliding glass doors. And dude, that was my first time ever doing anything like that. And like, I took the double stomp through a pane of glass that I set up on 2 chairs, and my head was busted open, and like my arm was bleeding because like we did the gusset plates into the arms and stuff. And man, when I walked out of that match, like I was like, I have never felt more alive than what I feel right now at this point in time. And ever since then, man, like whenever I'm in like that hardcore aspect, like I just enjoy it. Like I really do. Like I don't necessarily feel it until it's all said and done, but I just enjoy it. So the skewers in the head, like they suck. There's no getting around it. Like I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't hurt. Like once it goes in, it's horrible. But once they're there, man, I felt like it was a good opportunity to just kind of look at the crowd and just kind of smile and laugh it off. And like, it worked out really well. I knew you were going to show that picture on here.
So, you know, your answer to that really put this next picture into context. But for everybody watching, I really want you to look at the scenery around this next picture. This is the last picture, and then we're going to start wrapping the show up. But this match looks like it was an absolute war. And just, guys, look at the ring when I put this picture up. But, Zach, if you'll talk us through this match, what went on, how it happened, and your thoughts and feelings after the match. What happened on this night? Look at that. Look at that canvas, guys. Is that Legos?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Zach. What is your problem, man?
I wasn't hugged enough as a child, apparently. So that's Raven. That's Raven Havoc. And I was actually apparently on his top 4 list to wrestle. So he got to wrestle Matt Tremont, Cannonball, and G Raver. So I was his final one on his list, and we thought it wasn't going to happen. And man, he called me one day and was like, "Hey, I would love to wrestle you." And I was like, "I've got a show in June or July." And he was like, "What's the day?" And I'm on my way. And it was my first time ever meeting Raven. We've only talked on the phone. And dude, he came down and like he hung out with me for a couple of days, and we just kind of talked about everything. And that was my very first gusset plate. That was my very first like pane of glass. We broke over 100 light tubes in that match. And the finishing spot was a pane of glass on 2 chairs with a Ouija board with gusset plates coming out of it, and Legos completely like on the glass. And I ended up hitting him with a Death Valley driver off the middle of an 8-foot ladder through all of that. And that was one of my favorites, dude. That was my very first death match, and that was the one that I was just telling you about. Like when I walked out, I was like, I've never felt more alive. Like that did it for me.
It looked like an absolute war. Like just the things on that canvas alone,
dude. If you
was
could
absolutely terrifying.
There were skewers involved, gusset plates, light tubes, panes of glass, Ouija boards, chairs, a trash can. There was a knife involved. I used the knife because I refused to bite into a lemon. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It was like the worst taste in the entire universe. But whenever we get flyers made, we print out like the little, like, you know how Alex does like the little tiny flyers, but they're UV sided, like double sided thick.
Yeah.
I had Raven, and I did a bunch of paper cuts on him with one of our flyers. So I caught him right here in the armpit, and then I caught him right here in the mouth. I pulled out his tongue, and I did it on his tongue, and I did it in between the webbings of his fingers. And then I took a knife and I cut open a lemon, and I put the lemon in his mouth and made him bite on it after I paper cutted everything. It was like
I go back to my original question. What is wrong with you?
I wasn't hugged enough as a child. All right, like there was trauma here. No,
Well, if hugs are the problem, then I'd like to introduce you to my good friend Heel Hugs, who says my doctor is shaking from me even hearing about the amount of violence.
like man,
Hugs is a great dude, man.
if anybody wants to see the actual matchup and stuff, all you got to do is type in Real Pro Wrestling and Zack Monstar on YouTube, and it's should be right up there in somewhere into it. But once you type it in, it's Zack Monstar versus Raven Havoc, and that was a really cool like little fun match. I've also done another one with Alex Ocean, who does No Peace Underground in Orlando, and Bud Heavy. So like, yeah, man. I've been trying to talk Alex into letting me do a death match at the Coco Center.
So my friend Piers Austin, if you can't tell, in that picture, he's actually holding the CZW championship. He's a huge deathmatch fan, deathmatch fanatic. I'd really love to get you two in contact because his bread and butter is deathmatch, and I think you guys would have an amazing show talking about death matches.
Man, I'm still very very new into the deathmatch thing, but dude, I have no fear now. Like, there's so many things I want to do. Like, we did one out here in my backyard just to do it, and I took the weed whacker to the chest.
Oh. I'm done, Zach.
Like, Kevin, come back. We're not done. I did that, and like the whole point behind it was I just wanted to see how it felt. Like,
it's gonna suck.
Oh, it did. It really did. I've been trying to talk Alex into letting me do a death match at ARW because I have a knife board. I made a knife board, and it's not so much like it's definitely not as extreme as like the Japanese like scissor board, but
he posted the promotion for your upcoming match, and I just sent him a text. I was like, I hope you have insurance on that venue.
yeah, man. I faced CJ before, and it was we got kicked out of the building, and we weren't allowed back because me and CJ went all around, and we ended up like breaking a wall and stuff. So that was my only time ever getting in the ring with CJ. So like round two, like me and him have both grown professionally and with, I want to say, like knowledge when it comes to the business and stuff, and our talent alone. So I can't wait to see what happens for round two.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there September 4th. Alex is gonna let me come in a little early, get some interviews done, talk to him and Jason, run down the card. So I'm sure I'll be seeing you September 4th.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to chat again. I do have one final question before we go into the plugs and wrapping everything up. This is a question coming in from Wyatt, and yes, Wyatt, we will end the show with round two of a vape off. Zach beat me once. I know you want him to beat me again, but
I don't
anyway,
know, man. You had me the first time.
Wyatt says, would you like to go to AEW or WWE if you had to choose?
If I had to choose, and like those were the only two options, I would pick AEW, mainly because, so you know, one thing that like bothers me the most about WWE, like their product is phenomenal. There's no getting around that. Like, you can't argue with that. But look at what they just did with Keith Lee, for example. Keith Lee has built his name in NXT as what he was. And then the second that they debut him on Monday Night Raw against Randy Orton, they've changed his music. They've changed his gear. You know what I mean? Look at what they did with Alistair. They built him so strong in NXT. The same thing with Finn Balor.
I'll even say the same with the Viking Raiders. How many times do they have their names changed?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, man, you invest so much time and effort into building your brand. You know what I mean? Like, I have my brand tattooed across my eyebrow. Like, Madhouse is something I've built for 9 years. So when it comes down to it, man, like, I would rather go somewhere where what I do is a little bit more accepting. Like, look at Darby Allin. They didn't make Darby Allin change. You know, it's
getting a little thirsty here, Zach.
Like, but look,
dude, my wife makes the best cups.
It's the same thing with like Luchasaurus and all those indie guys that you used to watch. Like, but it's because, like, look at who came from that. You know what I mean? Look at who started that. Like, you have AEW with the Young Bucks, who did the TV promotion, and they changed the shit out, and they were Generation Me. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
then Kenny Omega's been in Japan forever, so that's now, you know what I mean? That's nothing. But the main example is Cody, dude. The Stardust gimmick. Come on. They took Cody and like they put him through the ringer.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but you take the Cody Rhodes versus Dustin match that happened in WWE versus the one they had at Double or Nothing. For me right now, when I think of the greatest wrestling match of all time, it comes down to two. I do believe Cody and Dustin are number one just because of the story they told, the elements of their father there. It was so emotional. But when you think of that match, the only one that even comes close to it in recent memory for me is Jericho Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
I agree with that. And like, I don't have a problem agreeing with that in any way, shape, or form. Like, normally I can point out some, like, my own like personal opinion about it, but like, I can't argue with that. Like, those probably are two of my top favorites, along with AJ and Nakamura in Japan. What was that? That was Kingdom also, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with like Ricochet and Will Ospreay. Like, that's another phenomenal one that I enjoyed watching. Speaking of, do you pay attention to like PWG and stuff?
I try to pay attention to as much as I can. The issue I'm having is not all the best wrestling is like, I don't have a problem with WWE. I watch it, but the wrestling that I really like is so hard to access. Like, it's not the easiest thing to find. You know, if you turn your TV on at a certain time on Monday, a certain time on Tuesday, a certain time on Wednesday, wrestling is there. But it's hard to find some of the stuff. So I do pay attention to it, but not as much as I would like to.
So the only thing that they ever show on PWG, which is Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, are the highlights on YouTube. And then I always end up finding like a lot of the stuff that they're showing. And, you know, I'll pick up like the older DVDs from High Spots because it's like $5 for the DVD, you know? But dude, if you ever get the chance, like, look up some of that stuff, and like, you see Drew McIntyre, you see Chris Hero, and like when Chris Hero was a badass in the ring, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with like Ricochet and Leo Rush, and like even Alistair when he was Tommy In, Sammy Callahan. Like, dude, PWG is like one of my favorites. PWG has something that nobody else has though, and that's Super Dragon. And Super Dragon is one of my all-time favorites. Like, my brother makes t-shirts and stuff, and he just did one from Muda. And I love Muda just because of like the look, the technique, all of it. So I asked him to make me a Super Dragon one.
So Zach, just before we wrap things up, I've really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this chat with you. I highly doubt this is the last time we're going to get on here and just hang out and talk. But let everybody know where they can find you, follow you, keep up with everything, and then we're going to end up ending the show on a vape off.
Man. All right. So you can find me on Facebook at Zachy Taylor with 2 R's. You can, the Human Horror Show, Zack Monstar. Those are both Facebook. I'm on Twitter as Zack Monstar. And I want to say I'm on Instagram as Real Monstar. And if you're interested in picking up any merch, t-shirts related, anything like that, you can DM me on any of those platforms. I'm pretty good with all that. Once I see it, or you can swing over to my store. It's storefrontier.com/Zack Monstar, and I've got all my amazing Madhouse merch along with a bunch of new designs that I'm constantly putting up. So,
guys, this has been the War Room for this week, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the Human Horror Show Part 1 because I'm pretty sure we're doing this again. Zach, you seem to have just as good a time as I did. Guys, make sure you're going to prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestling Review Society and picking up your awesome shirts. Hit up A-Rock Designs for any of these awesome cups or any custom orders that you might have. She can do just about anything. We do hats, hoodies, keychains, shirts, cups. It does not matter. But to end the show, as requested, Zach and I will have one more vape off. But Zach, I'm throwing a monkey wrench in the plan because you kicked my ass the first time. So this time you're going 1-on-2 in a handicap match, introducing my good friend Piers Austin to help me vape the crap out of you. Gentlemen, prepare your weapons.
Hold on. Where's my wife's vape? Give me 1 second. Hold on. I will double fist a vape. Really? No, I'm kidding.
Oh shit! Lumps of steel over here.
Oh man,
My
Dude,
my wife is literally right off camera. So you're going 1 on 3, Zach.
All right, I'm fine with that. You guys are. I'm telling you, I think you had me the first time. Fun fact before this happens, and I have to tell you just because you're a vapor.
Go
Last year, I had 10 of my teeth pulled from wrestling and just damage. So I did it all in one day. They didn't put me asleep. I stayed awake the entire time. Coolest sensation ever. They told me I couldn't vape though, and I was like, well, what do I do? Like I'm stuck in the house. So I figured out how to do this little nifty trick. So don't judge me.
Through your nose?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty as fuck.
I would rather do that than dry socket. Oh, that burns so bad.
Dude, I thought Australians were feral, but you took the fucking cake there, Zach.
All right, gentlemen. Here we go to end the show. Let me get the video pulled up so I can end the show properly. All right,
I'm
stretching. And lady.
I'm stretching over here.
3 for all the fans. 3, 2, 1, go. And that has been this week's episode of the War Room. Zach, if I can have just a few more moments of your time when I end the live feed, I'd really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back this upcoming Thursday, 7 p.m. with another episode of the War Room. It's going to be another ARW guy or girl. Hint, hint. And we'll see you all then. Thanks for watching. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you enjoyed the interview from myself, from Zach, from Piers, from Ashley, from A-Rock, from everybody. Thanks for watching the show, and we'll see you guys next time.